everyone, and welcome to video number 2 in this series. Firstly, thank you so much for all the positive feedback that I received in the first video. It really means a lot and it's kept me excited and motivated to keep sharing these videos with you. To bring you Bristol today, I've put a little bit of a twist on it, and instead of just one student, we're going to have 2 students that will be sharing with us today. The first student is Emily. She actually intercalated during her degree, which isn't something you hear quite often amongst dental students, so it's going to be quite insightful to hear from her. And secondly, we have Amrish, who's actually a graduate entry student. He previously studied dental materials at Queen Mary, so it's quite interesting to see how he's sort of integrated into studying dentistry now with probably some other undergraduate students, as most people are. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that that what they share with you will be helpful in making a decision into which universities you would like to study at. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Emily and Amrish, who will be sharing with you what it's like to study dentistry at the University of Bristol.
Hello, my name is Emily and I'm a 4th year dental student at the University of Bristol. I came straight to dental school from school. I didn't have a gap year or anything like that, but I did take a year out between my 2nd and 3rd year of dental school to do an intercalated BSc in global health. Outside of dental school, I'm a dental ambassador for Immersify Education, who are a company who help to bring dental teaching to life, and I also work for the company Kuroku, who help to generate clinical notes using artificial intelligence. I have a new Instagram page, which is Emily Dental, all one word, and please feel free to DM me if you have any questions.
Hi there, my name's Amrish. I'm a 3rd year dentistry student at the University of Bristol. I entered Bristol as a graduate after studying dental material science at Queen Mary University of London.
Could you guys both tell us a bit about your journey getting into dental school?
So when I applied for dental school, I applied to Bristol, Cardiff, Sheffield and Liverpool. I was lucky enough to get interviews from all 4 of these universities and then proceeded to get offers from all 4 of them, which I was very surprised about. The reason that I chose Bristol was, for me, I had the most positive experience when I went to visit. So I loved the city of Bristol. I just thought it was really beautiful, and when I went for the actual interview, I thought everyone was so friendly, just had a really positive experience. The other thing was that I thought that the Bristol teaching style would suit me the best, so because it was lecture based and not PBL, so problem-based learning, I thought that that would suit me really well, and I'm so glad that I went for that choice. I absolutely love being in Bristol.
So whilst Bristol was my only offer, it was also one of my first choices because Bristol Dental Hospital is situated in the centre of the city. It's also quite close to the main campus itself, and when I went to visit on open day, the staff and students were really friendly. I also like how Bristol has a really nice student feel about it.
And what are the entry requirements for Bristol in terms of like A-levels, GCSEs, and do they have to sit the UCAT?
So the entry requirements for dental schools do slightly change every year, so it's always worth checking on the website, checking on UCAS, etc. The standard offer for Bristol Dental School as of 2019-2020, so this year, is 3 A's at A-level, but there are always contextual offers available as well, so always check whether you can qualify for them. GCSE requirements is a 7 or an A in GCSE Maths, and then a 4 or a C in GCSE English, and you do also need to do the UK CAT, so that's just to let you know. The interview style for Bristol up to this point has been MMI, so multiple mini interviews, and those are sort of fairly standard, and I personally think is the best kind of interview style, because if you mess one of the stations up, nobody knows, so you can just keep on going. And everyone was absolutely lovely at the interview, really calm.
So with regards to entry requirements applying as a graduate to Bristol, I was required to be predicted a 2-1 in my degree and to have B's in the relevant subjects that I did at A-level. Bristol then use a weighted assessment of your academic achievements and predictions, your UCAT score and your personal statement to determine whether you'll be invited to multiple mini interview. But do check the university website for the most up-to-date admissions process and entry requirements.
Amrish, how would you describe the student culture and student life like for dental students or perhaps just students in general at the University of Bristol?
One of the things I love most about my dental school is our student culture. We have relatively small year groups, so that means you get to know your year group really well, but also we get to know the years above and below us well as well. When you join the dental school, you get put into dental families, so your dental parents are really good for offering advice on exams or any tips and tricks they've picked up along the way. We also get to assist for the older years, so that's another way we get to know students throughout the whole dental school really well. We also have a dental society which puts on events such as conference evenings with guest speakers, bar crawls, sports such as football and netball, and the highlight of the year always being the dental ball.
Emily, what would you describe the teaching and assessment style to be like for students in Bristol?
So the overall assessment style at Bristol University is mostly multiple choice questions, so MCQs, and what normally happens is you're taught a unit, and once you finish the lecture series you normally have a couple of weeks and then you have an exam on it, and normally it's not on the computer. At the end of each clinical year, so 2, 3, 4, you have a OSCE, so those are a bit like an MMI but assessing your clinical skills, and when you do your finals you also do have some written questions, which are like short answer questions. We've also been given some assignments throughout our time in Bristol. So for example, we had a project related to oral biology. This year I did a literature review, which was really interesting just to have a bit of a variation. We've also had a couple of presentations and posters, so it does sort of vary throughout the year. They've also just introduced a new curriculum at Bristol University where they're trying to cut down on the number of assessments, so that's just worth bearing in mind.
And for Bristol, when do you guys start seeing patients and treating them? Do you guys have like restorative clinics and perio clinics, or do you just treat a patient from start to finish?
Bristol has recently introduced a brand new curriculum, but for me, we began seeing patients in the middle of our second year. We began with periodontology, which is treatment of gum disease, and alongside this would be in our skills lab, learning how to drill and fill on phantom heads in the restorative part of the course, which we finished up in the first term of our third year, and then that allowed us to start seeing those types of patients in the second term of our third year.
So I'm going to ask this to you, Emily. What would you say is the biggest upside about studying dentistry at the University of Bristol?
The biggest upside about studying at the University of Bristol is the fact that the dental school is literally 10 minutes away from the rest of campus, which has meant that we've continued to feel a part of the rest of the university for the whole 5 years of the programme. So I'm a hockey player myself, I've continued to be able to play, and the fact that we are all based at the dental hospital has meant that we have the most amazing sense of community. Everyone gets to know each other, all the other year groups always interact, and it's just a lovely place to be. The other big upside about studying at Bristol is the fact that from second year onwards you're really actively encouraged, if you want to intercalate, and I've been so well supported going off to intercalate and coming back. I decided to intercalate in global health and I took so much from the experience, and I would encourage everyone to do it if they so wish to. Because I studied global health, it's given me a greater and more diverse skill set. So I'm much better at critically analysing papers, I understand the broader outreach of healthcare much better, and I kind of understand evidence-based dentistry guidelines a lot better than I would have done otherwise. And I was just so well supported and encouraged to do so. So for me, that was a huge upside as well.
And sorry, Amrish, you have to play bad cop. What would you say is the biggest downside about studying dentistry at Bristol?
So the biggest downside studying dentistry at Bristol is that on the current curriculum it is quite content heavy, and also Bristol as a city is fairly expensive, as great a city as it is though.
Surrounding up, Emily and Amrish, what would you say your one tip or piece of advice would be to any student potentially wishing to apply to study dentistry in the future?
So my tip for students that are about to apply for dental school is don't let people put you off by telling you how difficult it is to get in. Someone has to get in. You will never know unless you try, and you don't want to live with any regrets. So just go for it, give it your all. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but be confident in yourself. That I was tried to put off many times, and I'm so glad that I wasn't. My advice for people coming to Bristol is enjoy living in the city of Bristol. It's the most amazing place to live. There's always so much going on, so get involved with as much as you can in the dental school and outside the dental school. Enjoy being a student and enjoy learning. Like, this is the time to make mistakes. This is the time to learn from your peers, learn from older students, learn from your supervisors. Ask your supervisors how they got to where they are today, because so many of them have such interesting stories, and just enjoy it. Like, enjoy being a student. It's the most positive experience ever, and just go for it.
A tip for anyone coming to Bristol, don't be afraid to ask for help from any of the staff or us in the older years. We're here to help.
Thank you so much, Emily and Amrish. Your insight is really helpful, and honestly, even for me, just as a dental student elsewhere, it is nice to kind of find out how it is like studying elsewhere. And I just want to use this as a bit of an encouragement. A lot of people may be discouraged if they don't get into dentistry first time, but I just want you to kind of look at Amrish's experience and hear from Amrish that it is still such a positive and, you know, a great time, even if you've had to do a degree before, or you've had to maybe retake A-levels, or even if you only got one offer. It is really up to you to kind of make the most of your time at whatever university you are at. As well as that, I kind of just wanted to highlight what Emily spoke about not being afraid to venture out. Honestly, guys, if you've ever wanted to study any other healthcare or sort of related degree, then you have the opportunity to do that whilst in dental school. So go for it. Don't be afraid that, you know, you may be the only one doing it, or you're gonna have to be put in the year below after it. It really doesn't matter. Getting that degree, you know, being happy, being fulfilled is what's most important. And so please, 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 if you want to do it, go for it. But that brings us to the end of this video, and I really hope you liked it. I really hope you got a bit of a glimpse into what it's like studying dentistry at the University of Bristol. As always, if you've got any questions, then please, please, please message me, and, you know, share this video with anybody you think that it could help or be beneficial to. And I can't wait to see you for video number 3. Bye for now.